Hello and welcome to MAPcast.
This is Matt.
This is Alan,
And this is Parker.
and today we'll be discussing several topics. First, taxation.
And this is continuing what we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, well.
which I don't remember what we were talking about at
Yes,
all.
you do.
Were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about Spartan's wet dream
Spartan,
of
the Spartan's wet
God.
dream.
killing people who get handouts.
Taking their organs and giving them to
So-
the
Oh yeah,
better people.
taking their organs and giving it to people. I like
So
it. I like
wrong.
it.
Though I will say this. Okay. Too much taxes. Where
Too
do you
much
draw the
taxes.
line? Percent of
Well,
income.
see, that's difficult because taxes can be used for many useful things. I mean, military,
Oh yeah.
Social Security. I mean, that one's debatable.
Oh yeah.
On
Well, all these
effectiveness.
things are.
Military spending. I mean, the necessity of
Yeah.
military spending is non-negotiable. How much, sure, but it still needs taxes to fund it.
However, we tend to run off of a very low percentage of our income or of our taxed. The government's taxed income actually goes to military. We spend more than anybody else does, but that does not mean we spend most of our budget towards it. I mean, numerically at least. But
Matt?
yes.
You know what? Taxes are very necessary in order for a nation to run. That's been proven time and again. You need it.
I think Matt and I agree here that taxes are necessary, but what taxes are used for
Yeah.
and how much
Okay.
could be negotiable.
And I
Absolutely.
won't
That's always
argue. I won't argue that any nation, any country can't absorb or can't take taxes, because if you're going to have a country with any government, it's going to have some taxes. Period, because that's what governments do. That's how they maintain their existence. So I'm not going to argue that your ideal government won't have taxes, but I will ask how much would be too much.
Well, I think I don't know. You told me the other day what the actual tax percentage across.
Oh shoot. I can't remember what it was. I think it was around 30% of average citizen tax on income. Although I may be wrong.
You said it was.
Oh, that's 39.6.
Yes. It's.
I'm.
40. It's 40.
It's 40.
There was a 3 in there, so
Okay, so the tax rate is 40 across the nation.
Yeah. Compare that to like countries like I remember Sweden. You have 80 plus percent. If you look at the United States, circa 1778 or 82, which is beginning of the U.S. kind of thing, it was about 5%.
Well,
So
now why do you think it was 5% then and now it's 40?
because
Things didn't
we-
cost as much back then. We didn't have jet programs.
Mhm.
There wasn't
So-
as much to spend the taxes on,
Yep.
so they didn't need as much. It was, hey, do you have a standing
Didn't
army?
have
Great, here's
nearly
the
as
money.
many people back
Even
then.
there, they kind of sort of had a standing army. They didn't have a very large standing army at that.
Which is
Um,
why it was 4%.
True, true. But the point to make out of the low number is it has perpetually increased since.
Well, we also have to say, because we only talked about military, we didn't give
Mhm.
as many handouts back then.
That's
We
true.
didn't
That's
have
absolutely
Social
true.
Security. We
Right.
didn't have as many dependencies on the government as we do now.
Oh,
People
most
back
definitely.
then had a more cowboy attitude where it's like, we can get through this kind of thing
Mhm.
without help. We can do it ourselves. And nowadays, I'd say it's much more, let's look to the government for help getting through this because I'm
Mhm.
too lazy.
Well, there's also
Unless we're talking about like you know,
Actually disabled.
actually
people.
disabled people,
Well,
but I'm not
I'll
including
also
them
look-
in this talk.
Okay.
They count as their own thing. I'm talking about people who are doing it because
Handouts.
they're lazy.
Right.
I will also point out another thing. Historically, welfare was not from the government. You had it from communities. If you had a broken leg and you couldn't work, you go to your church community or your town community if your town's really small, like mine.
Oh, that would be okay, but I mean, it's different.
You'd go there and you'd say, "Hey, I'm down on my luck. Can you give me help?" And that's where you would get the help. You wouldn't go to your food stamp office and get some food stamps because that's what the church community was. They just gave you food that day, and the next time you came
Well,
in
that was
until you could get
also-
your life up.
That was
But
also when we were in a more religious nation.
I would say that was more when we were in a more connected nation because we've seen we've seen urbanization increase really, really fast, and with it, I mean, the reason I'd argue that the reason you see welfare increase a lot during the Industrial Revolution and then plus mid to late Industrial Revolution was because you had rapid urbanization and communities couldn't adjust fast enough. That's what
Well,
I'd say.
I'd say it's that, and just the fact that during the Industrial Revolution, more people were getting injured in their line of work because
Mhm.
everything was much more dangerous. It
Yep.
multiplied tenfold how the chances of an accident on the
Mhm.
job.
I mean, moving factory equipment, yeah, is much more likely to lose an arm to that than to lose it plowing land or something. Which I could see someone doing that by accident. Get it caught in the ropes and that, hey, look, my hand's gone.
In a plow, what are we talking about?
I have no clue.
We got so off topic, so hard.
Yes. Okay, back to taxes. Yes. So
So let's just take a vote because we've pretty much said our piece. I mean, we could argue it, but we're
Mhm.
pretty stood fast on our
yeah,
position. So,
and we also have more topics to cover.
more fun ones at least, like that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's start.
With you.
Let's start with me. I say taxes are a necessity, but we don't need to tax nearly as much as we are because we should cut out dependency on the government, stuff like unemployment and fake disabilities, like being overweight and stuff.
yeah, I can see that.
It's controversial, but I mean,
It's
something
worth saying.
it's worth saying that we wouldn't have such a deficit if we didn't have so many people taking advantage of the system.
Mhm.
Matt?
Again, taxes are completely necessary. I think Alan's probably going to say the same thing. You got to say it. Taxes are necessary, but to what extent? That is the question.
Yeah.
Mhm. What's your suggestion on that?
Well, I like it the way it is. It's fine.
40%
It's-
tax rate's fine with you?
It's been working.
Okay. I will agree. Taxes are necessary.
Well,
for a
let
government
me
system.
question that. Are you saying the tax rate is acceptable and what we spend it on, or just the tax rate?
Tax rate. If you spend it on better things, I'm not a fan of handouts, right? Nobody is a fan of handouts if they are the working class.
Well, yeah.
And
Like there's the book, Strangers in Their Own Lands, or Stranger in Our Own Lands,
Oh, yeah.
about the people in Alabama who feel like minorities and people who are getting handouts from the government are getting handed the American dream while they still have to work for it.
Mhm.
And they're becoming like the less, I would say, privileged, but it's probably like the less recognized population.
They're becoming
in
minorities.
the eyes, they're becoming minorities in the sense of government help.
Mhm. Wow,
They're-
that's dark.
They're preferring one group over another.
Mm-hmm.
so, Alan?
So I'll agree with you. For governments to work, it is necessary to have taxes. I will actually say that the highest tax rate I think you should have is 5%.
5%.
5%, and I know that's it's a significant cut
Very
from where we
large.
are right now.
are we saying? Because I don't know. Explain it to me. When we say taxes, are we saying sales tax, the tax that comes out of
Tax-
your job?
So
Well,
tax
like-
over income. So the amount of money you pay in taxes from
like-
the amount of money you make.
So
like
what about
property
sales
tax
tax?
and
Haven't we-
like-
so sales tax is
And
part of that.
income tax.
Okay.
Sales
That's what I
tax,
thought.
income tax, all those things. Those are all counted into the marginal tax rate that we are
All right,
talking
so-
about. But
Glad
the
I
reason I
understood
say the reason I say 5% is because you should really only be spending the money on law enforcement, maintaining the military, and that's about it. And
Yeah.
if you lower, and I will actually argue also, if you lower the tax rate, you can also increase. You can ironically make more money per the tax rate than you would otherwise because people make more money when there's less taxes.
Yes,
More money to
and then
spend
it's
things on.
Yes.
into the
So-
economy, but
More
if,
kind of
if
giving
you tax
it
people at
capital.
5% over instead of 40%, you might actually make the equivalent of 7% now, which you can use to pay for the law enforcement, pay for the judicial, and pay for the military. Not spending Lord knows how much money on it, but enough that I'd argue that you could still
Well,
You could still scare people away.
well, imagine you do that, and
Uh-huh.
then imagine how many lazy people are going to get off their asses to go get a job.
This is true, and that also increases the amount of taxes you bring in too, because you have more people making money, the
Right.
economy goes moving.
Also, imagine the revolt that the people are going to have.
Oh yeah,
to take away.
don't get me
Social
wrong.
Security.
The minute you say we're cutting the taxes down to 5% and all your welfare is going away, there will be people in the streets in Berkeley, California, burning down their colleges.
In Berkeley, California.
No comments.
Doesn't get much more than that.
Good. I'm a tad bit subtle on that one. But yeah,
Florida would just explode.
Florida would just
All the
sink.
old folk. Oh my
Oh.
goodness. Oh, they die.
You see, the only way they're shoring up the water on their coastlines from the global warming, it's with the dollar bills. Okay.
So, that-
second topic.
That concludes taxes.
So we'll finish taxes on there. Let's move on to our second topic, which I'd say I'm fairly excited to discuss.
Yes.
It's always
all
a
right.
fun topic to discuss.
It's always a fun topic.
So which
It's-
one wants to say it?
I'll say it.
Okay.
We're going to talk about should we colonize Mars, and let's just start off with this: should we colonize Mars?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we all agree yes, but let's talk about the aspects of what goes into colonizing Mars.
Also, why do we go? Because I think we
Why?
might differ on
Well,
that one.
let's focus on. Let's say this: the main reason I say is, like it or not, Earth has a limit on it.
Mhm.
The amount of people, amount of pollution, yada yada. We're gonna get there. The better,
Yeah.
the fact that we'd have a backup planet. I mean, it's harsh, but it's real. We need that. We need a backup planet, so to say,
Sure.
and Mars can provide that. It is the closest inhabitable, although not
Yeah.
very nice planet. I mean, we still need structures and stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I'm not saying that.
So
That-
if is the moon? Too
I
small-
would say the
too small to
moon,
colonize?
compared to Mars,
The
the moon is a worse option.
I would
Is it too
actually
small?
argue that the
You
moon.
think it's a better?
I would argue that the moon is a great option to do first.
Yeah, it's practice for Mars. But
Two reasons. Not just the practice for Mars, though.
Okay.
The other one is resources. The moon has hydrogen.
Don't take from the moon.
Oh,
The
you can
moon controls the climates.
Yes, but
We kind
think
of
about
need
this.
that moon to be the
Don't
moon.
mess with the moon.
Yes, but
And then
the,
put plants on it. That's it.
No, no.
Create the atmosphere, my boy.
the thing
Just give it a couple million.
the reason I say moon first before Mars, and I don't like saying it because I really want to go to Mars. I want to be on Mars at some point in my life.
Why not do both at the same time?
Oh yeah, I think you could do that because I mean,
Okay,
looking
so
at
then
as far
I
as the
want to
practice
do
goes,
this. I want to do this.
Okay, so
you
the
can't
first
practice
thing,
the moon if you're doing both at the
I
same
wanna
time.
say-
what you
this.
do is you get your plans ready for Mars and you run your staging and your testings going to the moon. That's the same kind of thing they were doing with Saturn V. Werner von Braun, when he was designing it, he was saying, okay, this thing's going to go to the moon. Do the other things. They go to the moon. He designed it to go to Mars.
Oh.
Saturn V was actually designed to be able to send people to Mars. Now, how to get them back, that's a different question. But,
Okay.
Okay, well,
um,
before we start talking about
But yes.
the qualities of the moon versus Mars and which one would be the better choice, let's focus on Mars, and then we can
Yeah.
get to that later. So let's.
Okay.
I wrote down some aspects we can talk about. The first thing I'd say we should talk about is human participation and what that would detail. So people would probably go expecting it to be a one-way trip, at least the first.
I
couple
think
groups.
they would jump at the bit for that.
I would jump at the personally. Space is where my passion lies. If they said you're going to go here, you're going to go to Mars, but you're only going to live for a year, I would still say yes.
By
I
all means.
strongly believe I would.
yeah, I do too.
I mean,
I'd
I
forsake quite a bit to go to the moon.
I
to
would
go to
hope
Mars.
my family or people who cared about me would understand what I'm doing is bigger than myself, and the fact that it is something I'm so willing to do would make it okay in their eyes.
Yeah.
Although it probably wouldn't, probably not for my
No.
I know
mother,
certain
father,
people in my
but
family.
I would still do it. I mean, it would make them feel horrible, but I'd still have to do it for myself.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that reasoning, because if I was told tomorrow, hey, we're sending 10 people to Mars on a test run, and we're picking you for some arbitrary reason, I have no clue. You have 10 seconds to decide. I'd be I'd be packing up my bags before they even got done with the sentence.
Yeah.
I'd be on that.
Matt, what do you think?
No, I would not jump at the bid for it. There's enough to do here.
Good point. Good point. But come on, think about it. Prestige of being the first man to walk on the moon.
Prestige. There's no prestige to be the first dead man on Mars.
I mean, you've got a point.
There's no
Oh,
prestige.
I don't know. I'd say there's a small amount. Of prestige.
It's not prestige I'm going for. I'm going
To
for
better.
not.
No?
I'm being selfish because I want to go to Mars.
But you want to go to Mars because you like space. You don't want to go to Mars to die on Mars.
I want to go to Mars to further human colonization of space.
Okay.
Not for the sake of humanity, for like, oh, I want to make it better. I want humans to get out of our own planet and look towards the stars. And if it takes me dying and 9 other people to do it, I'm wholly willing to do it.
You think it would only take 10?
No.
It's
I'm
gonna
just
take-
using his thing.
A lot of smart people, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, I'll put it this way: the Mars Direct, I think it's Mars Direct is what the program is called. The Mars Direct program, they were talking about sending, I think it was up to 20 people at a time over the, and it was send this group of people here. Okay, as they're going, you're already prepping the next batch of people for the next Hoffman transfer that you can send over there. And you just have people going over and over. And the reason I like the Mars Direct option is because they also talk about using robots and setting it up so that when you get there, you don't have to do manual labor to make sure you don't die when you get there. Because they send things ahead of you and it's there.
Well, yes, but you're still going to be sending people who can work the machine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the point of
You'll
sending
need
people there.
botanists
Yeah.
and
Set
that kind
up.
of stuff for hydroponics and food and stuff.
You'll
but-
send a guy there who can make potatoes out of his own shit, and that's going to be the day.
And
Oh my
That's
gosh.
going to be the day.
Take Vicodin potatoes.
Oh my god. Um,
Fly around like Iron Man once he wants to get back home. So how many people do you guys think they would send up in the first wave? Realistically, I'd say probably
Realistically.
50.
first wave.
First
Well,
wave.
okay, hold on. Now,
This is
This is
assuming
just-
This is assuming they've already sent, like you said, robots and provisions there. It's waiting for you to get there.
okay, but I don't know what our level of technology for spacecraft is as of this moment. Really? Okay.
If it was correctly funded, which I mean, SpaceX, it's on the way.
SpaceX is actually more likely to do it than NASA.
No,
is.
NASA's in the gutters compared to SpaceX. SpaceX is the cutting edge space technology.
Thank you, Elon Musk.
Yeah, honestly. But
Well, how
I
many
think
people
we-
could their spacecraft hold?
well, not current ones, probably not that
Current
much,
ones?
but they
I
could
don't know.
design one very
How-
easily.
The
They could
Falcon
send 2
Heavy,
rockets.
The Falcon Heavy
So
right now
in
is
order-
designed to launch quite a bit. Sorry.
In order to colonize Mars, like this is just the
Mm-hmm.
baby step. This is Parker when he's walking slow. These are his baby steps. So he's going to, they're going to send, I don't know. I want to say less than 50. There's no way they would send 50.
I
That's
disagree.
too- that's
Because
too
I'm
much.
assuming that if we're going to go with the goal of colonizing Mars, every big country is going to want in, and we're going to have to include most big countries.
That's a
That's like
mistake.
that's
So-
all.
That's a
no, no.
mistake
It's a-
from
I
the
dis-
start.
I
But
disagree
no, but isn't there
with
some
both of you, actually.
isn't there some treaty that says you can't colonize another planet or claim it for years?
That was intentionally not made as a treaty. The thing that, if I remember correctly, the way I'd say is if we're going to send people colonizing, you need to send at minimum 20 at a time because I don't think you can send any more or any less than that and still have any prospect, at least being economical. And also, if we're going to say this is SpaceX going rather than a nation, if it's a nation, then you can expect the nation to send their own people. But if it's a company, I'd guess that it would be
It would be the top guys in their company who are, well, not in their company. It would
people
be,
who buy the tickets.
You think so?
Yes. Well, I'll put it,
disagree.
I would also disagree. I'd say it'd be their personnel, like the people they train.
well, there might be
No way they would just let them buy tickets.
okay. So I think we were disagreeing on first wave here. If we're talking about first wave of like the first people sent, yes, they'd be sending. Just got that right. You'd be spending personnel from your company and stuff. The greatest personnel you can send for the jobs you need there. Yes, but the first wave of colonists, which are just civilians, I would say they probably would just pick anybody who would pay the ticket to go. I mean,
I disagree.
I would also disagree.
I mean, they might have to buy the ticket. That part could be negotiable, but they can't just send anybody.
They would need
Oh,
training.
They would need training.
Well,
They'd
yeah.
have to like meet certain
You-
physical requirements,
Again.
health codes.
that kind of thing you can actually do as part of the like this is the preparation for your journey, so you don't die on your way over
So
there.
so what I'm saying is not anyone can buy a ticket and just go. They'd have to be able to pass
Uh-huh.
some tests. So.
What I would expect is if you're having a private company doing it, you would have someone to purchase the ticket, they go through the training to do it, and then they could go.
So you.
I
keep-
don't think that they just buy the ticket and get on the plane. Or get on the plane, holy shoot.
Whatever.
The rockets.
So
But-
you keep saying people will just buy a ticket. I don't think that will happen.
Oh?
No, I would say governments would jump on this, like he said. But if going back to that point, if you get too many going, now there's going to be problems.
Ooh.
You know, for a
This ties
fact
into the second thing I
Okay.
wanted to talk about. When it comes to Mars, how do you deal with governing it? That's the difficult.
I actually would say you're probably going to get colonialism again.
Of course, it's a
You're
you're
going to
I mean,
have
colonizing.
it's
you're going to
a-
get a provisional government probably from whoever is sending them.
How long do you think it would take for them to want to break away from Earth?
Depends
I
on the
remember you
people.
talking to me about this.
Yeah,
And-
no, I strongly believe that if we colonize Mars, it's only a short matter of time before they break off because Earth can't govern Mars so far away.
Yes and no.
Once they're able to self-sustain,
Yes.
that's when they will
will
break
pull
away.
that out
I
of
will
their ass.
argue that the minute that Mars is self-sustainable and the communities there are not dependent on
resources from Earth.
resources or emergency supplies even from Earth, then you can see separatist movements and the like. But even there, at least until Mars looks more hospitable, I don't think you're going to see very much separatism
So
unless you have a lot of Americans going. No.
now, well, I was gonna say, do you see people going to Mars to be very nationalistic?
I would.
towards
It depends
They
if
might
the
be. Do you
do you
government.
think they're looking to like better their people, their government,
I
their nation?
I would say that is going to completely depend on who's going. If you're saying a national government's doing it, yes. If you're saying it's a private company sending people,
They're probably,
probably
going
not
to
as much.
specifically pick people who are.
they'll pick people
more
whom which are
willing
more
to
either
abandon their nation.
yeah people whom which are they're going there for prestige, for opportunity, for freedom, if that's what you're into. Those kind of things, I think they'd send those people rather than sending ultra nationalists or ultra globalists or whatever fanatics. Any philosophical or political fanatic is a very, very dangerous thing to send on a small mission, because fanaticism does not cope very well with diversity and pluralism of any type. I mean, fanatic globalist, and you have someone who's like, I like my beautiful state of Wisconsin. Someone's like, no states, no nothing, and you immediately have conflict, and you don't want those on. Yes.
So I was looking something up. I wanted to see how long it would take for something from us to travel from
Uh-huh.
Earth to Mars, and the guy who I'm reading, he says most often number he hears it would take 10 days. 10 days to travel at the closest point
Closest
between Earth and Mars.
How often is it at its closest?
Wait.
point?
10 days.
Every
really?
1.6 years. And they say
Oh.
it would take 260 days to travel from Earth to Mars at that point, when they're as close as they are every 1.6
So I mean,
years.
like realistically, SpaceX could send something to Mars at its furthest point, and then when you're sent off at its shortest point, you
You
arrive at
don't
the
want to
same
go
time.
at this. You do not want to go at the longest point.
No, I'm saying you send like supplies and stuff
Oh,
at the
oh.
longest point, and then when they send you, the people, at the shortest point, you get there at the same time as your.
You don't
Well,
want
in-
that.
in
though,
that
because
case-
you want the supplies to already start getting themselves set up.
yeah, so why wouldn't you
I'm
send it
assuming food and.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can
not
shit
expirable.
like that.
Yeah, that's fine. But like, so you
I'm
do
talking
that.
like
about
how-
robots.
Why don't you do that at 1.6 years? and then wait 1.6 years again till it comes back around. Everything should be set up.
How long does it take to get there from its farthest point? Does it say that?
Not that I have not read that far. If you two would like to, I will read and find out.
Okay.
You read. We'll get to our next point.
Next point. Next point.
Let's see. We should talk about Mars colonization interpretation in movies and which one has a realistic interpretation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so have you seen The Expanse?
Yes, I was just about to
I
say
know
that.
you were about to say that.
I was just about to say that.
Okay, so
Railguns are the future.
no,
Yes,
no,
completely.
I don't think so.
For space weaponry?
For space weaponry.
Yeah.
Oh.
That and missiles, sure, but
I can see missiles. I don't think railguns are going to be very good for space weaponry.
why? They shoot fast.
Move too slow.
Well, it depends on, are we talking in 100 years railgun when we have ships flying around with railguns on it, or one now?
I think there's a intrinsic problem with the way the Expanse does things because they have infinite fuel and infinite power, and I would love that, but that's not possible.
Well, yet.
No, period. Like that violates the laws of all kinds
Well,
of
not
things.
for infinite energy, but for a very high level.
Very high level, unless you have
In the show, does it, or book, does it say what powers?
No, but that's the problem. If they were saying
What
it's
if it's-
fusion, that or I don't know if they do because I don't remember reading anything
I don't
in the
know.
book saying it. But
I read that wrong.
What?
Oh.
It said give or take 10 days. So that's the margin of error.
okay.
So it's 130 days.
Okay, there we go.
And then I
That's
read
more
some,
reasonable.
I read
I'm like,
something
wow, that
down
was
here
really fast.
that says it would take your entire trip would be
For there and back, or to there?
for there to get there, how long you're there, and then to get back. So I believe it said it would take 9 months to travel there, which blew me. It was like 10 days to 9 months. God, I'm an idiot. And then it says you have to wait 3 months for it to travel back around, and then you can start 9 months again to get back to Earth.
it's not as optimal as I thought it was.
No.
Okay, so-
when you said 10 days, I'm like,
But sounds
that does
realistic.
not sound realistic
So-
to me. But okay.
Just like you have to wait for Earth and Mars to be in the proper position before you head to Mars, you also have to make sure that they are in the proper position before you head home. That
Yeah.
means you will have to spend 3 to 4 months at Mars before you can begin your return trip. All in all, your trip to Mars would take about 21 months. 9 months to get there, 3 months there, and 9 months to get back. With our current technology, there is no way around this. The long duration of the trip has several implications. So,
Yeah.
People who can
My
handle
bad.
isolation.
my bad.
Well, I'll put it this way. One of the things that most interests me with the aspect of colonizing Mars is actually the
Getting there,
isolation. Once you're there,
you're there.
you're there. And the way I see it is if you want to go to Mars as a tourist, you want to go there, just spend 3 months and go back.
Well, that's a different thing. Are we talking about
That's
the
not
first people going
colonization.
there?
That's not colonization, and I would also argue those are not the people you want to send. You want to send people who intend to go there and die there, be there the rest of their lives.
Yeah, you
Those
should
are the
only
kind of
send
people-
one-way trips.
No,
Because
I'm not
they
even
should,
kidding
they
on
should
that
use the spaceships they land in as parts for buildings.
Well, you can also use that. The idea with the Mars Direct is you send a ship with stuff, with the supplies and robots and manufacturing stuff. You send a return ship, and then you send the people. The return ship is if something goes wrong. Then you can send people back if you need to. National Geographic actually had a very interesting thing detailing a version, I think, of Mars Direct. It might have actually been the Mars Direct program, where they talk about how this process works. It was really interesting. But yeah, the thing that I like about the concept of going to Mars is the isolation. You're there, you're there. You're not walking away from that.
So now going back to how many people do you think it would take they'd send to colonize Mars? Well, I think the first trip, right? Small amount of people.
Perhaps.
20?
I'd up my number. I know you said 20. I know I said less than 50. I'm gonna go
I said-
15 above now. I'm gonna say
Okay.
below 100. They're gonna send these people. These people are gonna get stuff rolling. They're gonna get it to where it's semi-habitable, and even that's a stretch. And once they do that, they're going to start sending at least, I want to say, 1,000 people they need there to start actually colonizing Mars.
Send groups of hundreds at a time.
Yeah, I'd say
I can see that.
10 trips.
Completely realistic.
I actually would argue it is.
I would say
It might not be.
You're not arguing against anyone here. We're all agreeing it's realistic.
Oh, okay.
I
I was like, I wasn't sure that was sarcasm.
I would say it would take 1,000 people to start the colonization process. You need a base.
I have a question. What's the minimum amount of people to have a sufficient gene pool for when repopulating?
Good question.
I think
Well,
you can
depends
have-
on how much sex is going on.
Well, it was a low number. I thought it was like 280 something.
I say less than that. I don't think.
Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing to look at. Hey, this is why we have computers.
So,
Um,
what was the question?
Minimum amount of people for
A diverse gene pool.
diverse gene pool repopulation. I don't know. Throw that in there.
Yeah. The thing is, it depends on how much sex is going on in one aspect. Because if you're sending
Well, I
people
have to assume.
fast and fast,
I have to assume that the people understand they're going there with the intent to repopulate.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, if you're having sex quite often, and the birth rate there is above like
160.
They say 80 men, 80 women, 160.
Okay, yeah.
How many kids per?
They would want at least three.
Yeah, 3 to start, because that's a +1.
I would actually say that if you're gonna go, try to look for people which want families of up to 7 or 8. You might even want to go up to like 10 because
Well, you have to talk about.
No,
the
nobody's
problem-
gonna do that.
You have to
but-
talk about the problems of being born on Mars and living on Mars for an extended amount of time.
So there's been things I've read about that where it is bad, and there are things I've read where it says it's okay, and I don't know which one to go with. If you'll take Hollywood for it, they'll say it's terrible, and you can't come back to Earth.
When do you think you have successfully colonized Mars? How many people?
Well, it's not a matter of people; it's a matter of sustainability.
I would say that it.
Well, say you have the correct sustainability to sustain the people. Now, what would be at what number? Because 1,000 isn't colonization.
10,000.
You think 10?
I say 10,000 because at 10,000 you can be, if you are self-sufficient at 10,000, you have enough people, I would argue, to pretty much just keep growing. If you have 10,000 people, and I'm assuming they're all in one colony, I would expect that as soon as you start sending large groups of people, it would start growing very, very fast, and you'd have, say, a Russian colony on the pole. I'm being kind of bad there. I was going to say,
Just a tad bit racist, but whatever.
what's wrong with Russians being in cold climates? No. You might have a Russian.
Eskimos.
Okay, you might have Eskimos in the. I don't know.
I don't know.
The Canadians will go to the North Pole of Mars.
Yikes.
But yeah, I can see that you'll have lots of different nations sending lots of different people, and after you have one.
Well, that's the problem is who has control, and that's going to be something that's going to be fought over back on Earth. It's who has
Yeah,
control
yeah.
of Mars.
And the thing about that is, I'm pretty sure as soon as you start sending people, the Valles Marineris, which is the giant thing and that looks like someone took a knife and carved through Mars. It's the really cool canyon thing.
Yeah.
That thing. That thing's going to be divided up very, very quickly because everybody wants to be there. Because dust storms are a lot better in a valley than they are on the open plain.
You guys want to take a short break?
Sure.
All right,
So-
we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a second.
So we've been doing some calculations based on an assumed starting population of 1,000 people and a growth rate of everybody's having as many kids as they can. And we came up with that population to reach 10,000 is about-ish 11 years, is what we said,
Without
Yeah.
added people.
without added people.
And with minimal losses.
We're assuming that half the people have kids, and of those kids, you lose,
Probably 10%.
I was saying 40 of them?
Oh, 40%?
No, 40 kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
of how many?
250.
Of 250 being born, so you have half the population of the starting population, and then you lose 40 kids at least.
Well, the
Which-
kids and the actual people themselves are both added.
Yeah, yeah. Which, I mean, it's actually still really low numbers, but hey, optimal, assuming we have the best healthcare in the solar system, and people are
Are
like
you
being
kidding me?
reasonable.
Canada.
Canada, best healthcare in the solar system. Anyways, so yeah, optimal situation. We're saying 11 years to get to 10,000 people, which if we're really good, could be self-sufficient. We can claim that Mars is colonized, but that would be really kind of sad.
And that's just really just the better side of things.
And that's also assuming like nobody's going after the first 1,000.
Yeah.
So
So,
It would be either less or more time.
yeah,
Depending
Probably
on how
more.
many people you lose.
depends on how many people show up every
yeah.
so many months.
Which I mean, hey, that could account for the other 200 people coming in. So you
Yeah.
could just have a
Now we have
birth
to.
rate of 40 people actually being born, but you have 200 people coming in. That also would give you that growth rate there.
How long would it take to communicate between Earth and Mars?
What is it, 7 minutes?
Is that it?
I think it's 7-minute time
It
lag.
seems very low.
It actually might be lower because I can't remember where it is. NASA sends things to Curiosity all the time, and vice versa. It's really, really interesting, in my personal opinion.
So
8 minutes.
8
Sorry,
minutes?
I am
That's
so
it?
wrong. That is, yeah.
It's lower
To
than I
send a lot of data, which is
hold on.
megabits. So it is limited by how much data you're sending.
thought. That's true.
I thought it doesn't this say it takes 8 minutes for it to travel there and
Yes.
20
So
hours
that
to travel
that is
back.
how long. That is how long it takes for a signal to reach to Earth. If you're sending 100 to 250 megabits, which is this amount of data, it could be transmitted to the orbital, and that same data would take 20 hours to get to Earth. So it'll take a while to get a big chunk of data to Earth, but you can spend small amounts of data relatively fast.
Okay.
Which, if we end up getting better and better communication stuff, we might be able to cut that down. I don't know what the limitations on that are other than light speed. Like I could assume that you might be able to transmit more data per second at any given point in time if we do better. But yeah, we could probably get to better data transmission, which means you could get full length audio like this beautiful recording that you have right here in front of you.
Dexter's
Look at the camera. Damn. All right. So we've talked pretty. I mean, not terribly extensively. Only like half hour on Mars. No, it's not the next topic, but it's a continuation of this.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Can we move on to
The feasibility of colonizing Mars over a fully inhabitable, self-sustaining space station. Which one is more realistic?
Yes.
Yikes. Wowza.
Wow. Okay, so
So go ahead.
No. Someone else first, because
Honestly, did not hear
Well,
you.
okay, I'll say this.
Go ahead.
The advantages of a space station is artificial gravity. You just have to get it spinning. It's just a design thing. Therefore, the people on it will have Earth-like gravity, so there won't be any health conditions in that sense. You can build it so you have plenty of space for. You have plenty of space for what is it called? When you plant
Hydroponics.
Hydroponics. You can build giant biodomes for that stuff. It's been in movies. It's stuff you could do.
Damn, it's
Well,
I
also,
mean, to me, it would probably be ending up somewhere around the same cost.
Mhm.
And I think a space station is a lot more feasible because you could place it in Earth's atmosphere, or not atmosphere, orbit, or
Yeah.
stick it halfway between here and Mars and use that as a midpoint between the two. The midway station.
So, but now if you use this midway station, it would.
Well, we're not saying it has to go there. It's just an example of
but-
what it could do.
The example that if we used it as a midway station.
Sure.
Now, that would have its own special time to connect between Earth and Mars itself. They wouldn't all align at one point. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't work.
No, I know what you're saying.
You would have to wait at the station for a while before you even connect up to Mars, and then you could travel. So it's somewhat
There's
feasible.
pluses, but there's also negatives that you can't really escape.
Yeah. You could send people to the Midway station, wait until Mars is lined up, then send them.
Yeah.
And you
That's-
could
that's-
like,
yes.
that's one. But a bad thing would be if they need to hop over real quick. Not possible.
Okay, so the reason I said yes, by the way, to your question is because I think you can do both at the same time.
I don't think so.
I'll put it this way.
Could you? Yes.
I think you'd have to.
You wouldn't have the resources.
You wouldn't
to
have
do it.
You wouldn't have the support or the money for
You
that.
would need. I would say you need to because you need to either build a whole freaking space station. I don't think they do that, or they take the ISS, push it up into say geostationary orbit or something higher up than the declining orbit that it's in right now. You hear me, NASA.
Yikes.
NSA.
Oh no. Anyways, you'd need to take. Let's say we took the ISS and we pushed it up to a reasonable orbit. You could set on a whole bunch of modules that have orbiting rings, kind of, or rotating rings, and you can grow hydroponics in zero G with relatively no problems. Relatively.
Was the space station meant to take on that much?
The current design, no, but you could go and build like few
You could.
rotating rings and make that fine, not that too.
Or you can make just
Too
one
difficult.
giant ring station.
I would
Or you
like to
could.
make a new one in that.
Building a
That's
new
it.
station would be preferable, but if you're doing both at the same time, it would make more sense to take the station you already have, gives you space to.
You should use the ISS as a waypoint for building the station in
Yes.
space, not the station itself.
Like you can take it this way. You're playing a video game. You've already passed the third checkpoint in your game. Why would you go back to the beginning?
To replay it on a harder difficulty.
Oh my god.
To replay it on an easier difficulty now that you've played it on hard.
Good
Now
point.
you
To get that
understand.
achievement you missed.
You've got a point. I'll take it. But
File
still.
corrupted.
Oh no.
Okay.
But I mean, yes. Though to be honest, the kind of space station that I'm imagining that I don't think either you two are.
Probably imagining very different space stations.
I'm
Okay.
imagining cylindrical space stations
That's what
Yep.
I'm imagining.
Okay, we're all imagining the
We're
same thing.
inside of asteroids.
No, wrong.
No.
Not what I'm thinking.
Not what I'm thinking.
So you. Okay, that's
So the-
wacky.
The wacky.
There's two reasons. One, the asteroid gives you all the radiation protection you're gonna need. Two, wait, did I say two reasons?
I don't remember.
I
Just
said
go.
reasons. Okay, so first reason being, asteroids give you the radiation protection you need in space. Perfect. They're big, you can put people in them, so that's the thing too. Second major reason is that they give you resources. Lots of them are really, really packed with heavy metals and even not very heavy metals that you can use to assist in building things.
So now, but once again, this goes back to the
And ice.
moon.
Lots
When
of
you
ice.
take from the asteroid,
Yes.
now the asteroid loses its protection. It's now becoming.
Yes and no.
Okay.
It depends on what you're taking. If you're taking only
so
certain
why not
minerals,
build a space station which latches onto asteroids?
because then the space station part that is outside of the asteroid does not have the protection.
We
of
have
the
the
hold on,
asteroid.
ability
hold
to
on.
protect ourselves from that
Yes,
stuff.
it is cheaper though to dig things out than.
If
we're
we're
hold
sending
on,
people
hold
to
on,
Mars
hold on.
while we're building a space station, money is not a concern anymore.
So once
Cost.
once you use this asteroid, you dig it out. Now you're filling it with the station. You're
Mhm.
taking the resources, so now it's just you have the resource instead of breaking it up as you're in it.
Yeah.
Now that's all you do though. You stop there. So
Mhm.
you don't take anymore. Now you have the space station in the asteroid.
Yes.
So it's Minecraft and an asteroid.
It's Minecraft in an asteroid, but you
I'm
build
not
your
even
base.
kidding.
And your
He's
base
got a
stays there.
point. He's got a
I can get behind that. I can accept that.
That is one of the ideas that I've seen tossed around before with like futurists and those kind of people who are like, yes, this is what we shall do.
The future
So,
of weaponry really
now-
is meteors.
Yikes.
My
Okay,
God.
so
Damn dinosaur.
So
The original nuclear
now,
weapons.
can we talk about what it would take to colonize and make Mars a
Cooperation between many countries.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking like planting life forms, creating.
Probably certain bacteria that could, in turn, in a way, terraform the planet. I mean, you can't really just walk up there and be like, "Here's an atmosphere."
Well, no. Let me. What I was getting to has something to do with that. So, I've seen that like a good way to create an atmosphere
Yes.
is to crash an asteroid into it, and then
Yes.
the gas is released,
See where you're going
and
with
then
this.
it just creates an atmosphere, and then that's when you start planting and putting stuff in. Once it now has a base.
How long does that take?
Not certain. I just know this is a concept for creating the atmospheres, crashing asteroids into the planet.
I'd say it depends on how long it takes, but that could be perfectly feasible.
So there is one small problem with that plan. That is, yes, you get the atmosphere there. It's also dusty as can be for a very long time.
That's
Really?
true. No, yeah.
Because you put a rock inside, you crash one rock into other rock, you get a bunch of dust. Because of the gravity of Mars, it's not low enough that you can just hope that that disappears. It'll settle relatively slowly on Mars because its gravity isn't that high.
Well, that's fine. Now that has increased the atmosphere, though. And like, how long would you say it takes? I don't know any numbers whatsoever.
Could look it up.
Yeah, that would be a looking up kind
I
of thing.
don't even know how to look that up, Alan. That is your job.
Yes. My laughter. Here, hold this for a
Parker,
second.
so what would you say would be the first step? Mine was
Towards colonizing?
throw that asteroid into that planet.
Boy, that's tough because if that's a feasible idea, then that would be my first two. But if it's not, I would probably say
Oh my God, someone's actually asked this question.
the first step would be to build a station that orbits Mars. That you go down from there. You go up and down from that station.
Okay.
That way, if something goes wrong on the planet, you can get back up and wait for someone to come get you. You have a point where you can return to instead of being stuck on the planet.
Okay.
Whether or not you could return to Earth is another thing. But for transportation between the planet and the station, I would say that would probably be the first step. Other than sending, because, I mean, unless the asteroid or meteor thing doesn't work out, or if it does work out, you would do that. But if not, I would say you would send down robots, all the equipment you need there first, get the station there in orbit with the people on it, and then go down and start your work.
Okay.
That would be the other way of doing it, other than the meteor, if that does work.
Okay.
Which we're still holding out on for an answer.
So-
Alan.
Sorry, I
now
have no clue.
that he's looking that up. While he's doing that, I want to ask a question. So, I'm not sure if this would be feasible in any way whatsoever. Now, you do it. You put down like say a dome on Mars. You create an atmosphere within this dome,
Yeah.
which they've been working on for many years.
I mean, they
a
can do
dome.
that.
Yeah. Say you build up some plants. You grow them. Now, if you released the dome and all the gases
No.
escape, it wouldn't. No.
Doesn't
Okay.
work like that.
All right.
I'm sorry. but
Just
it
I was
doesn't.
just wondering.
It would
I-
be nice, but
There is a solution to what you're doing, I think, though. And that is. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The solution to the
Building
pressure
underground.
problem. Yes and no. Actually, one of the major things they talk about is using lava tubes and building your cities inside of lava tubes, because you can wall the sides of the lava tube and pressurize it there. But I think the biggest thing that helps with the planet's whole ecosystem, if you want to make it more Terra-like, you want to terraform it.
Sure.
What you would probably want to do is take your colony. You would want to turn it into the most manufacturing thing as you can.
just a big
Because
factory.
you want to make it as much of a factory. Why? Because you can pump out greenhouse gases. That adds
Okay.
to the pressure, and it also adds to the temperature, which is uncomfortably low. Uncomfortably low. I'll put it this way. It's it's between 186 and 268 Kelvin,
That's what today felt like.
which is negative.
It's not that cold here.
I don't know.
I'll put it this way. It's between negative 125 and 23 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, just wait for December.
It's not that cold up here in
It's
December.
been the coldest place on Earth at one point.
Yes, but it wasn't negative 125.
No, but it was negative 20.
We're
getting there.
We're
getting there.
We're getting there.
Global cooling.
Yikes! It's an ice age again.
Oh no. But yeah, it's not optimal. The pressure here at Mars is not optimal, and the temperature is not optimal. But you can fix both through heavy manufacturing for a very long period of time, which is pretty much what we're kind of sort of. And though this bases off of the same argument of climate change here on Earth being due to us manufacturing, if we argue that manufacturing has enough power to do it here on Earth, we are arguing that it's possible to do the same thing on Mars. If that is the case, yay.
I have
If
a
it's not-
solution to all of our problems.
What?
Oh no.
Let's just bottle up our greenhouse gases
God,
and
no.
send them
Oh
over
my
there. Let's just get a giant tube from here to Mars and send it.
Terror.
Terraform.
Okay, so
We'll just like link
Now-
it to the wormhole.
there was a movie, right? I can't
Uh-oh.
remember what it was called.
Oh no.
I'm sorry to do this, but there was a movie where they planted a plant, and then there was a robot trying to kill them. But forget the robot part. They
Why do I know that movie? On Mars?
yes, it was on Mars.
Puerto Rico?
No.
No, I know what
no,
you're
that's
talking
not
about. I know
Mexico.
exactly what
There's a
you're talking
robot
about.
that like, oh, they're gonna shut me down. I
Yeah,
better
yeah,
kill
yeah,
it.
How?
yeah. How?
How?
Wait,
No.
that's isn't that
have no
like a
idea.
space odyssey?
I think it might be something. But anyways,
No,
They-
the one you're talking about is
I don't think it's 2001: Space Odyssey.
which one had HAL 9000 in it?
That's 2000.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, it's 2001: Space Odyssey is what he's talking about.
Huh.
I don't remember that
So here,
being
let me
part of
see.
it, but
So, well, in the movie, anyways, they end up planting. Oh, wait a minute. They end up planting a plant that spreads over all of Mars because it flourishes on in that climate. So,
Yeah.
and that ends up creating the atmosphere.
oh yeah, that is definitely something you could do if you get the pressure higher than it
Well,
is right
that
now.
and is there?
Could genetically engineer a
We
plant.
could.
You could, although I don't know if we're good. The problem we are with genetic engineering right now, and this is a whole different topic.
We'll do that next time.
Next time, definitely. The problem with genetic engineering is we know we can do it because we do it. We don't know how to do it correctly, though. Basically, we're picking numbers, plugging them in, and like, oh, hey, this
That's-
does a thing.
That's how I do my math homework.
Yes, but that's not how science works. I know that's how you think science works, but that's not how science works.
I've had nothing to tell me differently so far.
Mm-hmm. What's your grades?
A's.
Oh, darn it! I was
Dab
gonna
on
use
that.
that one on you.
Dab on those haters, boy.
Dab on those haters.
Dang it! I'm so sad now. I was gonna really use that one, but I
It's just like I have an F. Point proven. No.
No,
Okay, so
But yeah, it's. I can definitely understand the idea of using genetically modified plants that intentionally pump out the correct gases to make life here on Earth easier, or Earth people here easier there. English. English is a thing. No, Martian. That's what I'm speaking. It's like pidgin English. Oh, is this it?
No,
Oh, this is
I'm
not
unable
it.
to find it, but
I know the Red Planet.
is that a movie?
It's a movie. I don't know if it's just a title that.
Oh
came to
wait, I don't think that's what you think it is. Oh, hey, maybe it is.
What did you think it was?
Oh, there's a 1950s thing about anti-communism called the Red Planet.
mind. Mission to Mars, Red Planet,
I-
Ghost of
I
Mars.
looked up. Ooh, it might be Ghost of Mars.
You know it's
Unless
great
those are
when
aliens.
You
In which
have no
case,
clue what
no.
you're talking about.
No, it's definitely not Ghost of Mars.
But in any case, oh my God, they made Doom into a movie.
Yeah, they did.
We are
We're
so
not
off topic,
talking.
by
We're
the
not
way.
going to talk about.
We're not talking about Doom.
Mars movie where robot
Oh my god.
tries to kill people. Let's see what that comes up with.
Look, you only removed half of them. Look at that. You turn it back on.
Kills people trying to. What are they trying to do when you?
I feel like my father would know. It's a movie. Oh, this one, right?
Amy? Oh, it is.
This.
You're absolutely right. Her name is Amy.
Yeah.
The hell did this come out?
Well, this was a great movie.
Yeah,
I
it
loved
was.
it.
Red Planet, yeah.
That's okay. That's what I thought. Now, so in this, they use the genetic. I don't know if it's genetically modified, but they used a plant to terraform Mars. Huh? Yeah. It was.
All right, well, it's kind of
We are so off topic.
we're so off topic, I say we even switch topics.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
So, hold on.
Let's go to topic number 3 right here.
Or, let's take a vote. Which
I
one?
really don't want to go on to that one just yet. I want to go on to topic 3 right now because it would be so much more
Matt,
fun.
what do you think?
Well, we're point at topic 3. That's topic 3.
Yes.
This is the other one. Or,
Or
Well,
I don't want to do topic 5 right now. I think that would.
honestly, I say we call it now.
right now.
now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now it's been 55 minutes.
So it's not too late. It's only late 30.
20 minutes. Let's speak for 20 minutes on that.
Yeah. Which one though?
Okay. All right. We'll get back to it on the next. Sure.
Let me get back to it.
When we don't finish this.
Oh, we're definitely going to finish this.
Oh, you think?
Are we doing 4 or 5? 4 or 3?
3.
We
got
might.
this.
All right.
All right,
Sit
let's
down
talk
and
about
start
this.
talking.
Okay.
Hey, Alan, I'll let you introduce this topic because it's your love child.
It is not my love child.
Really?
Really? 'Cause
shut
you
up
are
and do it.
so fervently
Okay.
adherent to it.
No. Okay. So we're gonna chat, have a fun little chat about social justice. What is it? Is it good? Is it real?
No.
Well, we have a consensus already.
Okay, so let me just go ahead. Let me start by
Okay.
reading what social justice is. So, social justice is a concept of fair and just relations between the individual and society. This is measured by the explicit and tactic terms for the distribution of wealth, opportunities for personal activity, and social privileges.
Nice.
Thoughts?
Thoughts? Social justice shouldn't be a thing. It's kind of the idea of, it kind of seems like, to me at least, our society is kind of equal opportunity, not equality of results. Social justice seems to be a equality of result kind of philosophy. So, I mean, you could say social justice isn't a real thing that should be instituted because it's like this. There was an analogy I saw somewhere where it's like you have a library and there are stairs that go up to that library. An activist would try to get a ramp installed so handicapped people could access it. A social justice person would try to get the stairs removed so it's equal. That's kind of how I see modern day social justice warriors. You could argue that
Wait, when you say to get the stairs removed, you mean so nobody can access
so
the
nobody
library?
can access it.
Okay.
Not so
That is-
everybody can access it. It's kind of thinking backwards than forwards.
This is dependent on the way you read this, because if you read it for exactly what it says versus how it is actually used, social justice, which is, if we just cut it down to what it's, the first sentence, which is, social justice is a concept of fair and just relations between the individual and society. That, I would say would be good. Or I would say would be good, but it depends on whether or not you're actually referring to fair and just to be, you're giving equality of opportunity. You are charging
Well,
people.
okay. Now you can say that same thing about feminism. On paper, great idea. Practiced, not so well.
current practice.
Current-
Third,
well-
what was it? Third wave?
Third wave is
Third wave
generally what it's
feminism?
called.
What is that modern or that was back?
That's considered now.
Oh, second.
Second wave is the 1960s.
So
First-
second wave
So
feminism.
what was
that
first
was
wave?
equality.
First wave was 1920s.
So
So
second wave.
second wave was
feminism-
when it got rough.
But that was when it was actually for equality. Now it's about being
Well-
more equal.
Okay, maybe in the 60s. Then the 70s hit, and then they became the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
I'd say that's debatable.
Well, that's today though.
No, today they're called feminine
Nazis. They're not. It's just a very derogatory.
Now,
know
I
that-
want to say that women out there who
Those
believe in
labels.
equality are no longer feminists. Feminist as a term has been corrupted by modern day feminists.
So
I
I saw a study that said many women don't even like to be considered feminists anymore, who are actually feminists, because the term has brought so much negativity towards the cause. So now they're just. Go ahead, Alan.
Okay. I would say that feminism, today at least, there are no. I would say that today women which are for equality of the sexes are not feminists. They are normal people.
Right.
yeah,
as
no,
should be.
yeah.
Feminists today want reparations for a perceived negative effect through all of history.
Right, they want to be more equal.
No, they want reparations. Slightly
That-
different
no,
term.
by-
Well,
being
but
more
it's simpler to say they want to be equal, but more equal.
Yeah.
They want the privileges men had 50 years ago, but they want that now.
Mhm.
They want the benefits of what being a male was and the benefits of what being a female is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem is that's not all of social justice stuff. That is.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no,
that's
we
the-
just jumped on feminism.
Yeah, we hopped on to feminism
Sorry.
real
Off
high.
track.
You
Gosh,
really
darn.
wanted to go towards that one for
So
some
let's get back to social justice as a broad topic.
So social justice pointing at something that's not going to get us all lynched. Something that might not get us all lynched could be economics. Social justice in the economic field depends on whom of which you're talking to. There are individuals which will say social justice in the economic realm is everybody should have the same outcome, everybody should have riches and the like. Some will argue that social justice is having the ability to do anything, but at the same time not being given handouts. But depends on who you're talking to and whether or not your version of fair and just includes equality of outcome, or which is equity, or equality of opportunity, which is equality.
I'm an equal opportunist.
So you're for equality.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd have to agree.
With
Being an equal opportunity.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What about you, Alan?
Equal opportunity.
Now, I want to bring this up. So we talk about equality. Now, equality is a good idea.
Sure, of course. It's base. What you
Are
gotta go
people
for.
equal, though?
No.
Of course
No.
not. Nobody. No.
So why does equality exist?
Equality, I would say, exists as the interpretation of justice as you are applying the same thing to everyone.
But why is it a thing? Is it something that...
It's a thing because of the United States.
No.
Well,
Okay.
it's been a thing since before.
It
So
it
this
has,
idea of equality.
but it's generally been you are more equal if you are richer.
Well, I would.
I'm not. It's not. It's not a matter of
Or
equal
I
because
should
you're
say
richer. It's that
if you are
any two
a noble.
humans are equal.
Oh.
Because people like the idea. Oh, everyone's unique. Oh, well then everyone's not equal.
Yeah.
We are not equitable. We are equal, I would say, in the sense of we all have the same rights. We all have the same laws that affect us. We're
Only
not
America.
equitable.
Let's go with humanity. We all have the same humanity with it.
People
Yeah,
say
we
all
all-
humans are
yeah.
equal. So you're going.
In that aspect, I will not say that all humans are equal in that sense. We are not all equitable, though, which is we do not all have the same things. You are taller than I am. I am.
More intelligent than he.
I am
Depends
not
on-
going to say that.
He is probably he is much further along in math, but I'm sure there's some things.
No,
that are
absolutely.
better.
It was
yeah.
just a joke.
But
I'm
still.
gonna fucking kill you.
Take your panties, real quick. Take your panties, unknot them. You're fine.
Well, hey, that's a little sexist here. Gotta be equal.
Get your boxers, unwad them.
Is that
All right.
Is that a good time?
All right, we'll call it here for now. We'll continue the discussion tomorrow or
Yeah.
some other day, whenever we post again.
Well, okay.
We'll lead off with what? We're gonna continue talking about what is equality, maybe.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
What is equality? What
Oh,
is
this
being
is
equal?
definitely something to bring in a guest speaker for.
Oh, I am the perfect person for this.
Oh, are we okay?
We should definitely bring in guest speakers. This will be hilarious.
This will be great.
Okay, so you ready? This
For what?
This was Matt.
This is Alan.
This was Parker.
And thanks for listening to MAPcast.
Dexter.